Welcome back to Que-pasa-Nashville. My name is Cristina Allen, and we're talking about the traditions of Latin America, specifically Mexico. My guest is Diane John Bosch and Dr. Alicia Griffin, and they're both Nashvillians. They've been here for a long, long time, but from originally from Mexico, Mexican-American, and we were talking about the traditions of bringing that into the Nashville Southern culture. So we've had the beauty of talking about pozole, which is a traditional sopa, what we call soup, that we make, I think, all year round, but mostly you'll see it for Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Our tamales with the corn husk or the banana husk. We've talked about, and I how to say this correctly, buñuelos?
Buñuelos.
Buñuelos, which is, it's like a sopapilla, but it's sugary flatbread where we put honey and cinnamon, and it's just, oh my God, it's so good. But we haven't talked yet about the most famous things, I think, are the empanadas. Tell me a little bit about these.
So these these are empanadas from Monterrey, Mexico, which is in the northern region. So these are actually made of carne deshebrada, which is dehydrated and pulled beef. So it's dried, but it's mixed with some sweet spices and cinnamon. So it's kind of got a sweet flavor.
Something we spoken the whole time. Always somewhere in, except the pozole, but oh, there's cinnamon always on everything. I remember eating empanadas, but with fruit inside. My mom would make them with apples and more of that, but empanadas come in all forms.
Peach, apple, mango, whatever you just make them out of anything. But that is a specialty of Monterrey, which is in the northern part of Mexico.
And so what do you remember most about being in Mexico growing up of Christmas, or the holidays that you spent with your family?
Well, when we were kids, in the neighborhood, some of the families would get together and they would visit from house to house. The kids would be playing out in the streets or seated on the cars. You don't see that anymore.
Well, did you celebrate los posadas?
They did, yes.
And the posadas is a traditional done in churches or families where they go from house to house, and you have hot chocolate, I believe. Did you celebrate that? Yes. And then you get to the house, and it's like...
but they're singing.
They're singing, and they bring the Virgin Mary and Joseph, and sometimes live on a burrito with the Virgin Mary. And they're replicating the Mother Mary going house to house until someone welcomes them. And it's a great traditional thing. Did you celebrate it growing up?
Since we were here, nobody did that here, so we had no group to go with. But I remember my mom telling us stories about when she was young, and they would do the posada, especially the churches. It's very Christmas time. Everybody goes to church. It doesn't matter what church you go to.
Or spend all night long there.
Christmas Eve services, and then you would do the posadas, and the kids would break piñatas and the candies.
We had, it was funny, piñatas for Jesus' birthday, you know? The candies were different then than they were in a traditional birthday one. So trying to do as much as you can. I think the hardest thing for me, living away from my family, who's from Mexico and in the southwest New Mexico, is you don't have those people to do them with, to teach the next generation. But when you do find someone, you get together and share those traditions. Diane, tell me a little bit about your family, because you married someone, a Persian, and that has to have a new flair. So you have the American, like your father, the Mexican traditions as your mother, and now your husband. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I was surprised to find out how alike the Persian, even the family dynamics and traditions are very similar to the Latino, to the Hispanics, where everything is centered around food and family. So if you have food and family, you're fine. You're good. You don't need anything else. But it's funny because it's like that Thanksgiving and Christmas. We'll have the traditional American. Next to it, we'll have some Mexican dishes, and then we'll have the Persian food, which it's still rice heavy, lots of meat, lots of salad, veggies, sweets. So it turns into, I just like to call it the United Nations of the world that end up coming, and I think it's more enjoyable. You get flavors. You get, if you don't want this, you can have that. If you want spicy,
it's usually buffet style, because there's no way to put all the food on the plate.
No.
So, with your growing up, being born in Arkansas, growing up here, went to Overton High School, and so this is Nashville's home. And then marrying Mark John Bosch, you guys have a Bolero. You're the owner of Bolero Company, which is a fashion. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we just had, I love fashion anyway, and we just had this crazy idea of, trying to blend old and iconic things from all Latin America images and just a lot of the history, and try to make it relevant for people like me who maybe we didn't grow up in Mexico, we grew up here. We still want to have that tie.
So it's a Latin flair looking clothing line.
It's very modern, very cool, very hip now. But a lot of the images are going to be like, say, Frida Kahlo,
yes,
or the pyramids, or some Aztec or Mayan.
I saw a beautiful one with the Latin countries and stuff. Very exciting. Bolero fashion, is that correct? But you're also co-owner of Plaza Mariachi Music City, a new mixed-use development that will be opening up next year.
Yes.
And what is exactly that?
We are looking for a place that really will be the epicenter for everybody in Nashville to come and experience a little bit of Latin America in a fun and cool, new spaces, fresh. It's themed, so when you walk in, you're going to feel like you traveled in time to a Mexican plaza.
It's the epicenter and I think culturally relevant center.
Yes.
So Dr. Griffin, with your practice with Cornerstone Oral Health Care on Owensville Road, been here a long time. Diane, with your Bolero fashion, Plaza Mariachi, and I know we didn't have time to talk about the co-founder of the Hispanic Family Foundation, which will probably get you back here. I want to thank you both for just being here and sharing your culture, your passion for food, for familia here in Nashville, Tennessee.
Thank you.
So we're going to be right back. We're going to take a short break and finish up the story and about the holiday traditions of Latin America here in Nashville, Tennessee.